Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Looney. Today I want to talk about one of the strangest but most reliable indicators I use in my trading, and that is the Bollinger Bands. A lot of people ignore them because they look confusing with all the lines, but once you understand them, they are a game changer. But before we get into this video, I do want to do a quick shout out to the Discord. It is free to join, and then I also offer a premium membership, $8 a month, and that gives you access to one-on-one coaching, trade callouts. I have an option selling course. I do giveaways and more. You can check it out. The links to that are in the description. But what are Bollinger Bands? We're going to discuss them, and let's pull up Mara as our example. And you're going to click on this advanced chart, and you're going to click on the top right for indicators. And again, looks pretty overwhelming, but we're going to scroll over to the right and see where it says BB. That means Bollinger Band. And you could hit this little wheel. And again, I don't touch anything of this. This is just the standard layout. I don't change any of the settings. If anything, maybe the color. But if you hit this question mark, you could read about it. It measures volatility, and you could learn more. And again, Robinhood itself actually goes into detail of what Bollinger Bands are and how they work. But essentially, what they are, there are 3 lines. And actually, let's get rid of a lot of these indicators just so it is less messy with what we're looking at. Okay, so we got rid of pretty much everything but the Bollinger Bands. And you can see here, the middle line is the simple moving average. Around 20 days is usually what it is. That's why it's saying 20 up at the top. And the upper band is that average plus 2 standard deviations. The lower band is the average minus 2 standard deviations. Again, sounds fancy, but the takeaway, it measures volatility. So when the bands squeeze together, it means volatility is low and a big move might be coming. But when the bands spread out, it means volatility is high and price could be topping out or bottoming. And all these widths look different depending on what stock you're using. Mara is a pretty volatile stock, so generally it's pretty wide. You can see here, though, it got really wide when it dropped significantly. I'm not sure what the news was, but we can see that expanded. Additionally, with Bollinger Bands, the orange line, or where the stock price is, usually tends to be within these Bollinger Bands. So about 95% is when the stock stays within these Bollinger Bands, but when it comes out of them, that's usually when you could have some opportunity, whether you're deciding to sell a put or sell a covered call. That's usually a good opportunity because that's when it is oversold or overbought. So how do I use them? And I sort of just hinted at it right there, is I use it to sell options. So when it's at the lower end of the Bollinger Band, that's usually when I tend to do cash secured puts. And when it goes towards the top, that is one of the better times to sell covered calls because it is signaling overbought price action. And does it work all the time? No. Like I said, 5% of the time, it does come out of those Bollinger Bands, and it could come down pretty aggressively and you can get a sign, but assignment's not always a bad thing. But it is one of the most consistent ways to use for trading, and I use it all the time. So let's actually analyze when I did my cash secured puts. So we could see here, I have a bunch of cash secured puts. I have $14, $13.5, and $13. Let's look at, it doesn't really matter which one we choose. Let's actually look at the $14 put. And I did this trade on the 1st of August. So let's go back to the advanced chart and look where this stock was on August 1st. So we might have to actually go back a little bit. Nope, we can. So yes, you can see here, August 1st is when I sold a put. The stock was trading at around $16. No, I'm trying to see when it was trading at. Oh, it was trading at $15. And this is when I opened a sell put. And we can look back here. I did a $14. And if we look at this $14 sell put or cash secured put, it is currently up. I'm up 90%, around $50. And this should expire worthless. And therefore, this trade will be successful. So really, Bollinger Bands are great when you are unsure of what you should be doing. If you look at the Bollinger Bands and you notice the stock is trading towards the lower end, that's usually a good time to sell a cash secured put. And when it's trading towards the upper Bollinger Band, that is a good time to sell a covered call. Obviously, you could change up what strategy you're using. I like selling options, but there are different strategies you can use. Maybe you could buy a call when it goes on the lower end of the Bollinger Band, or buy a put when it goes up at the higher end of the Bollinger Band, which I do, but I'll only buy options when I'm certain on direction, and I'll combine other strategies with it, with the VIX, which also measures volatility, the RSI, the MACD. These all kind of go hand in hand with one another. And when I'm super short is when I'll swing into those option buying strategies. So again, in short, the lower band equals a potential buy or sell puts, and then the upper band signals a potential sell-off, or you could sell, or you could just do covered calls on them. And then the squeeze, where the Bollinger Bands squeeze together, that is when we are looking for some sort of breakout of that Bollinger Band. So that's how I use Bollinger Bands to time my option strategies and lower my risk. And you can see I'm up 20%. So my results are pretty good year to date. And let me know, do you use Bollinger Bands, or do you think indicators are just noise? Drop a comment. Until next time, peace.